This epic tale follows Ignis, a dragon who was once a fearsome monster. However, after the tragic loss of her mother and her brother, Taphas, she was granted a new chance at life by the benevolent Angelus. With renewed purpose, Ignis diligently cultivated her strength and became acutely aware of her burgeoning abilities. Her focus then shifted to relentlessly pursuing vengeance for her brother's demise. To achieve this, she must gather specific artifacts from the top 6 ranked individuals in this world to bring Taphas back from the dead. Ignis pushes forward with unwavering resolve, knowing she must overcome numerous daunting obstacles to finally resurrect her beloved brother. One night, as a dragon unleashes a torrent of fire from its maw, a glowing window suddenly materialized, alerting the guild to a newly uncovered hidden quest titled The Dragon of Despair. Simultaneously, another notification popped up, detailing Taphas's defeat. The on-screen timer now prominently displayed 30 minutes remain. Rush 777, the player ranked 6th, urgently questioned the top-ranked individual about the feasibility of completing this daunting task within such a tight time frame. Cynthia, the 5th-ranked player, scoffed and playfully suggested that Rush 777 could simply retreat if he lacked confidence. A 4th-ranked player with captivating purple eyes, known as Glow, chimed in, noting that their opponent possessed a rough-like essence, but specifically for mana. The 3rd-ranked player was a striking yellow robot with the user ID Nandemic. Harkmorph, a beige-haired girl ranked 2nd, anxiously turned to her OA for reassurance, questioning if it was true that losing was not an option. The top-ranked player, whose eyes gleamed with an enigmatic green light, and whose user ID remained a mystery, calmly declared that even 10 minutes would be plenty. The fire-breathing dragon then let out a furious roar, challenging the humans with a defiant, "How dare they?" A rhythmic, booming sound began to echo through the air. Rush 777 wasted no time on idle chatter, swiftly lunging forward and striking the dragon with his sword. The dragon immediately shrieked in pain as it was attacked. Following the blow, the dragon began to emit a debilitating debuff. Cynthia observed that the dragon had been debuffing earlier, but now it was surprisingly buffing itself. Suddenly, the powerful skill god's declaration of victory was unleashed. The dragon relentlessly bombarded them with streams of fire. Harkmorph urgently instructed Nandemic to hurl her forward, stating she was now ready for action. Nandemic complied, launching Harkmorph directly towards the dragon. Just as she was about to make contact, Harkmorph activated her unlimited form change. She then proceeded to strike the dragon repeatedly with her sword. The monstrous beast fixed its gaze intently on Harkmorph. The top-ranked player, clad in a beige shirt, informed Glow that his unique skill set guaranteed instant death. The dragon, with a fierce glare, slammed its tail against the ground, causing the entire area to rumble violently from the impact. Glow then unleashed his skill, the Undead Tree, attacking the dragon. Harkmorph gracefully leaped towards the monster. A notification appeared, updating them on the remaining time, 21 minutes and 5 seconds. The top-ranked individual then clarified the skill set for everyone present. Rush 777 quickly grasped the explanation. Glow activated his Poison Mist skill, and after unleashing the mist, he donned his skeletal mask. Cynthia then employed her Friendship Affinity, also known as God's second grace skill. Nandemic began to repeatedly strike a mysterious box. Meanwhile, the top-ranked player, clutching a knife, expertly climbed downwards. Harkmorph declared to the top-ranked player that she would launch him into the air. She then gave a powerful shove to the flat platform on which the top-ranked player was standing. With her push, the top-ranked player shot towards the dragon at incredible speed. He expertly struck the dragon with his dagger, and upon impact, a massive explosion erupted. The system promptly informed him that only 20 minutes remained to complete the mission. However, to everyone's surprise, the mission was successfully completed and removed from their quest log even before the deadline. After defeating the dragon, the top-ranked player acquired a valuable collection of items: a dragon tooth, a dragon horn, a dragon gem, a dragon bone, a dragon heart, and, last but not least, a set of magnificent dragon armor. The top-ranked player decided to divide the 6 hard-earned items equally among the team. Rush 777 confidently stated that these items were the perfect ingredients for enhancing their gear. The top-ranked player smirked subtly after hearing Rush 777's confident remark. The scene then shifted to an administrator, whose name remained shrouded in mystery, sitting alone in a quiet space. He confidently concluded that the recent event was surprisingly easy. Yet, he mused that games should ideally be enjoyable, but this particular one felt rather uninteresting. Suddenly, a glaring error message flashed before him. He speculated that something truly intriguing was about to unfold. Another window appeared, displaying information about Ignis. Her level was noted as 8 stars, and her class was designated as Dragon of Destruction. A chilling realization dawned upon her. The presence of her siblings, including Taffas, had completely vanished. Gritting her teeth, she activated her Warp Flame Heart skill. A notification materialized, once again announcing the Dragon of Despair. The system further revealed the details of Taffas's initial defeat, specifying that it was inflicted by Guild Number 0. She then manipulated a display, bringing up images of the humans responsible. Upon seeing their faces, her teeth clenched in a surge of anger. She knew that her sibling had, in essence, provided them with a total of 6 crucial items. As her thoughts raced, she remembered the existence of a resurrection system, which could be activated if all the necessary ingredients were successfully gathered. She was acutely aware that the 6 culprits were none other than the strongest members of the opposing guild. With unwavering resolve, she decided to reclaim the items one by one, deeming her enemies to be merely humans. Her determination solidified. She would eliminate every single one of them. A guy with a cheerful smile on his face was casually strolling along. His user ID was Chocolate Mint, and his class was listed as Novice. He realized that he could finally clear his beginner quest if he could just find one more slime. Chocolate Mint spotted a slime lying innocently on the ground. He optimistically noted the apparent lack of competition today and concluded that this was the perfect opportunity. He confidently leaped towards the slime, mentally deciding not to hold any ill will towards it. However, as soon as he jumped, the slime began to move in an unexpected way. Chocolate Mint was utterly shocked to witness the slime's sudden animation. The slime then grotesquely transformed into an unknown man, leaving Chocolate Mint completely stunned by the figure standing before him. The mysterious man held a dagger firmly in his hand, and Chocolate Mint stared at him, wide-eyed. The man, with all his might, struck Chocolate Mint forcefully. Chocolate Mint instantly realized that this assailant possessed overwhelming power. Staggering backward from the dagger's impact, Chocolate Mint found himself in a precarious situation. The scene then transitioned to a boy with the user ID Delivery Tribe, a novice class player, who was busily distributing newspapers to everyone present. He excitedly yelled, "Read all about it," as he rapidly handed out the newspapers with great speed. A bald man with the user ID Strongest Merchant, belonging to the merchant class, held a newspaper in his hand, his brow furrowed in thought. There was something significant to decipher within its pages. The newspaper's headline detailed a mysterious group of red players who had been responsible for a series of recent attacks in Alukia, the village of Mother Nature. These attackers showed no discrimination, targeting both novice and seasoned players alike. Many individuals across the world have been actively trying to apprehend these elusive red players. However, recent reports indicated that the red players had been thoroughly defeated. Already, there were 4 similar cases that had occurred recently. Despite this, there were still no concrete clues that could even hint at which guild was responsible for these incidents. Strongest Merchant rubbed his head thoughtfully. He knew that the highly anticipated festival was also about to commence. He had observed a large crowd gathering for the event. Despite the grim news, he noted that the newspaper was being distributed for free. Meanwhile, a slime was emitting strange sounds as it moved. A guy named Kim, holding his sword, told the slime that it would serve as his sparring partner for his skill practice. He then activated his inspection crossgut and struck the slime, which reacted with a pained sound. Kim then yelled at Tatantha, who had green hair, and Dishtra, with purple hair, asking for their opinion on his perfectly executed crossgut. Distra bluntly asked him if he didn't find it embarrassing. Kim shouted back, telling her to shut her mouth. He then smirked, explaining that while slimes were useful for skill training, a person could also simply grab them. Kim grabbed the slime in his hand and punched it repeatedly. He continued to pummel the slime, convinced that hitting it was an excellent way to relieve stress. He once again seized the slime and asked them if they knew the most enjoyable part. He then declared that the most entertaining aspect was stretching it with both hands until it expired. As soon as he began pulling it with his hands, the slime started to shriek. The slime then split into two distinct parts after his brutal actions. He found a strange satisfaction in hearing its cries. Tatantha questioned Haeyoung if Kim was a psychopath. Distra concluded that Kim simply had severe anger issues. Kim yelled at them both, commanding them to shut up. On the ground nearby, another slime lay motionless, its body trembling with fear. Kim happened to spot another slime lying on the ground. He extended his hand towards it and mockingly asked if he should send it to join its friends. The slime began emitting bizarre noises and started to tremble uncontrollably with fear. Kim mused that it might be even better if he simply tore it apart as well. However, before his hand could reach it, he was struck on the cheek from the side. He grinned, demanding, "Who dared to attack me?" Ignis then coolly asked Kim if he was requesting her to introduce herself. Ignis then told Kim that he had no need to know her identity. The girl's eyes glowed with an ominous red light. She then informed Kim that he would be dead soon. Kim's cheek was bleeding from a cut inflicted by the mysterious girl. He pointed a defiant finger at her and challenged her, asking if she was truly serious about killing him. He then lunged towards the girl, declaring that she was the one who was about to die. He attacked Ignis with his weapon, which Ignis effortlessly destroyed in an instant. Kim was utterly stunned to witness his gun obliterated by a single punch from Ignis. Ignis then punched Kim with all her might, and the force of Ignis's blow sent Kim sprawling far away onto the ground. Both Tatantha and Distra screamed in horror as they looked at Kim. Kim instantly lost consciousness as he hit the ground. Ignis stared intently at Tatantha and Distra, questioning if they were following her. Both of them immediately began to panic. Tatantha quickly told the girl that they hadn't witnessed anything. They both then scrambled to run away from the scene. Ignis contemptuously called them disloyal and hurled insults at them. The slime then slowly approached the girl and expressed its gratitude for being saved. The slime then timidly asked the girl if she was willing to listen to a request it had. Ignis was visibly surprised to hear the slime speak. Just then, a glowing window appeared before Ignis. She looked at the screen and realized that something previously deemed impossible was about to occur. On the screen, a slime's quest was prominently displayed, detailing the objective to save Olivia. The specific goal mentioned was to rescue Olivia from the humans. However, the potential reward remained unknown. The story delves into the recent past. A flickering spark, almost like a fleeting thought, ignited within it and then abruptly vanished. Was that the precise moment when it began to develop the capacity to think? Remarkably, no other slimes had ever acquired the ability to think, except for this one unique individual. One of the slimes tentatively asked the other if it, too, could think. The slime already possessed this awareness and was overjoyed to finally meet another like itself. They quickly forged a bond of friendship and bestowed names upon each other. The slime narrating its story was named Emma, and the other was named Olivia. However, their newfound happiness was short-lived. It was a harsh truth that self-awareness wasn't always a blessing, knowing they were utterly powerless to prevent the brutal deaths of their kind. The overwhelming terror they experienced as they witnessed countless murders, over and over again, became unbearable. They grew to resent their newfound ability to think, as it brought them immense suffering. They desperately wished it was all just a horrifying nightmare. So they fled. Olivia proposed that they escape to a place where no humans existed. Emma readily agreed to anything that would allow them to escape this terrible nightmare. And just like that, Olivia and Emma began their desperate flight. Yet, a nagging seed of insecurity gnawed at the back of Emma's mind. They eventually stumbled upon a breathtakingly beautiful place where their worries seemed to dissipate. They had reached Elsa's hidden field of flowers, a sanctuary where no one would ever venture. Both of them began to playfully jump among the flowers, filled with unbridled joy. They saw flowers stretching as far as their eyes could perceive, a vibrant tapestry of blooms everywhere. They found flowers adorning every corner of the landscape. They marveled at the exquisite beauty of the flowers and the fantastical nature of the entire place. Flowers even thrived on the sheer cliff walls, a testament to the area's mystical charm. But then, the creeping realization of that nagging seed of insecurity suddenly struck them. What about their fellow comrades they had abandoned in the forest? She had run away, now possessing a mind and experiencing new forms of suffering. Yet, she questioned herself. Was that a sufficient reason to leave her comrades behind in such a hellish situation? She concluded that it could never be enough. Emma then firmly told Olivia that they both had to return. This way, they could go back to protect the forest and be reunited with their comrades. The spark of thought and the subsequent formation of an ego. It appeared that she wasn't the only monster with an ego of its own. Ignis thoughtfully considered Emma's story, then asked Emma about the other slime. Where is she now? Emma revealed to Ignis that Olivia was at the flower field. Furthermore, Emma recalled that Olivia had been gazing intently at a specific flower on the cliffside, so she had returned to pick it up for herself. One day, Emma couldn't find Olivia anywhere, so she went directly to the flower field. She frantically searched for Olivia all over the area, shouting her name repeatedly. She even bravely climbed the cliffs in her desperate search for Olivia. Finally, Emma found Olivia and asked her if she had come here to pick that particular flower for her. Meanwhile, Kim stumbled upon a slime amidst the flowers. He knew this area was renowned for its lack of monsters, so he wondered where this one could have possibly originated. He pondered why he should bother killing it. He stood directly on the vibrant, blooming flowers. Kim casually slashed the slime with his sword. He dismissed it as an unremarkable monster, believing he had wasted his time. Suddenly, he was utterly shocked to witness the slime respond in this seemingly neutral territory. Even though he had heard of monsters appearing infrequently in such areas, he had never before seen a monster respawn here. He wondered if this unexpected event was precisely what he was thinking. As his thoughts raced, he recalled that a festival was quickly approaching in Elia. He promptly called Kong Wu and instructed him to summon the other guild members. He ordered Kong Wu to inform the rest of the guild that they had a new job to take care of. Haing refers to a slightly older male, someone like a brother or a superior. Subsequently, a large group of humans, cloaked in robes, arrived en masse at the flower field. The beautiful field was then instantly transformed into a living hell. Even now, Emma recounted to Ignis that Olivia was continuously dying, and being reborn only to die again at the flower field. She was mercilessly murdered as soon as she came into existence, with absolutely no chance to resist. These humans were brutally killing her simply because she possessed a unique quality. Moreover, there was nothing Emma or Olivia could do to stop them or force them to leave. Emma began to plead with Ignis, begging her to save Olivia. Ignis stood firm, assuring Emma that she understood the gravity of the situation. She then informed Emma that she would accept the urgent request. Emma tearfully thanked her, finding a glimmer of hope that good humans still existed in the world. Ignis clenched her fist, her resolve hardening. She told Emma to now leave everything to her. However, there were certain conditions for this quest to be truly considered a success. The system displayed a notification regarding the slime Olivia rescue. The objective stated was to rescue Olivia, but the reward for this perilous mission remained shrouded in mystery. Ignis believed that merely rescuing Olivia from those people was insufficient. Even if she was saved, she would inevitably return to that same field where those cruel humans resided once she died again. Secondly, Ignis concluded that simply defeating those people wasn't enough. Even if every single one of them was beaten, more would undoubtedly arrive later, knowing that unique monsters had appeared there. In this scenario, she decided that the condition for ultimate victory was simple yet profound. She realized she must crush them with her overwhelming power. Furthermore, she must instill such profound terror in their hearts that they wouldn't even dare to consider returning to that sacred place. She began to take long, powerful leaps to cover the distance as quickly as possible. As she moved, she vividly recalled Emma's description of the one who had repeatedly killed Olivia. She spotted a guy standing there, who promptly told her to hold it. Ignis halted her advance. Kongwu warned her that it was a bad idea to proceed beyond this point. He gestured with his hand, informing her that the area ahead was under the guild's strict control. He told her it was dangerous and suggested it would be better for her to turn back. Ignis casually pushed Kongwu aside. Kongwu immediately became aggressive, swearing at her and fuming about how she dared to disregard him when he had been so polite. Kongwu then announced that a man wrapped in bandages had emerged. The bandaged man stepped closer to Kongwu. The bandaged man held a dagger firmly in his hand. Ignis looked at the man and remembered Emma's prior warning. Emma had advised her to be cautious of that man, specifically mentioning his involvement in yesterday's noisy ambush. This bandaged man was indeed the same individual from that incident. She now stood directly in front of the man covered in bandages. She knew that the flower field was just beyond him, and she simply needed to get past him. She also knew that if luck was on her side, she could directly confront that guy. Gritting her teeth, she challenged the man to fight her with incredible speed. The man's bandages swiftly dropped to the ground, and he leaped towards the girl. He slashed at her, but she expertly blocked his attack. The girl then struck the bandaged man forcefully. Kongwu was utterly shocked to witness this unexpected scene. She decisively defeated the bandaged man, and then warned Kongwu that she would kill him if he didn't immediately leave the area. She told him to go if he valued his life. Kongwu stared at her, incredulous, asking if she was blind or something. Ignis glanced at her arm, which was now tightly bound with bandages. She then happened to notice the bandaged guy standing a short distance away. She was shocked to see the bandages on her arm. She realized that the bandaged man must have inflicted this wound precisely when she had struck him. She pondered how a mere human could recover so quickly after taking a direct hit from her. She then demanded to know what the man was planning. The bandaged man began to emit strange, unsettling sounds. Whatever, Ignis thought, deciding she didn't need to waste time figuring out these humans' cheap tricks. She resolved to incinerate everything until even the ashes were gone. She raised her hand, but then she saw an error message appear. The system notified her that the skill Hellfire could not be activated. She wondered about the status of the skill. She pondered if she was unable to activate any of her abilities, from top-tier skills like Hellfire down to the most basic ones. She concluded that the bandaged man shouldn't have had enough time to attempt anything like this. Therefore, if she wanted to resolve this anomaly, she clenched her fist, realizing she would first need to break through this place. She then began to pull the bandages that were wrapped around the bandaged guy's body. She didn't stop. Instead, she continued to tear the pieces apart. The bandaged man collapsed to the ground. Kongwu quickly activated the skill Holy Shield to protect the fallen bandaged man. Kongwu started laughing, seemingly victorious, after seeing his action. Ignis furiously cursed at Kongwu. Ignis then decided to take down Kongwu first, rather than focusing on the bandaged man. A notification appeared, indicating that a curse had been applied 10 times. The bandaged man then activated the skill Death Shot, a terrifying ability with only 2 possible outcomes, death or die. As soon as he unleashed his skill, a box-like object appeared, clearly labeled Death Slit. There was also a slot where a coin could be inserted. The bandaged man began to gather his powers, preparing to attack her. She looked at the bandaged man, a strange and sinister feeling creeping over her. The Death Slit began to ring, and with her already unsettling premonition, she realized she had to eliminate him immediately. She sprinted swiftly towards the bandaged man. She tightened her fist and kicked him with all the power she could muster. However, she suddenly saw her body freeze, unable to move. All at once, the bandaged man was standing directly under the Death Slit. He let out a horrifying sound. He then used his powers and struck Ignis. The system notified her of an unknown curse that had been applied. Furthermore, it stated that her left eye vision has been sealed. Ignis immediately placed her hand over her left eye, realizing with a jolt that she could no longer see anything from it. Kongwu thought it a stroke of luck to have finally caught her attention. Ignis, however, gritted her teeth, unleashing a torrent of abuse at the bandaged man and vowing to end his life. The girl surged forward, her fist tightening with murderous intent, and landed a powerful punch. Yet, the bandaged man deftly sidestepped her assault. She persisted in her relentless attacks, but he, with an almost supernatural agility, continuously evaded every single one. The bandaged man then snatched 2 weapons, one in each hand, and charged at the girl with breakneck speed, his gaze locked firmly on her. He swiftly slashed at Ignis with the twin blades he wielded. Blinded in one eye, facing lightning-fast attacks, and witnessing a truly malevolent fighting style, he'd never encountered anything quite like it. She realized this was, without a doubt, the very definition of utter helplessness. The bandaged man resumed his assault on Ignis. He relentlessly sliced at her with his weapons, inflicting numerous injuries upon Ignis. Ignis staggered forward, attempting to close the distance. The bandaged man, with cruel precision, slashed her once more. After enduring so many brutal attacks, Ignis felt utterly devastated and overwhelmed. The bandaged man, clutching his weapon, leaped towards Ignis. Her body began to tremble uncontrollably due to the severe wounds she had sustained. But he didn't stop there. He resumed his relentless slashing at Ignis. Kongwu watched in disbelief as Ignis remained standing, even after absorbing countless blows. He wondered why Ignis was merely standing there, taking such heavy hits. A suspicion formed in his mind. Ignis must be meticulously planning something. He yelled at the bandaged man, ordering him to stop toying with the girl. He hurled insults at the bandaged man, instructing him to simply kill her already. The bandaged man charged at Ignis, swiftly wrapping his bandages around her body and holding her in a vice-like grip. He then slashed at Ignis with both hands. Ignis began to think deeply, her mind racing. She realized that while she might have lost her raw powers, her sharp senses remained intact. She knew there had to be something crucial. She had overlooked something she had forgotten. Her eyes flared red with renewed determination. Though she was already ensnared by the bandages, Ignis suddenly dropped to the ground, then rapidly pushed herself back up, tearing at the constricting bandages with her formidable nails. She quickly broke free from the restraints around her body. The bandaged man leaped towards Ignis, intending to strike her again. Kongwu was utterly stunned to see that Ignis had already adapted to the speed of his attacks. He opened his book, realizing with a jolt that he absolutely could not let her bypass him and reach the guild master. He then activated the powerful skill Holy Shield around the bandaged man. Ignis fixed her gaze on the bandaged man, who was now enveloped by the protective glow of the Holy Shield. With renewed resolve, Ignis remembered Emma, becoming even more resolute and determined. She clenched her fist, vowing to honor her word. She struck the bandaged man with every ounce of power she possessed. The bandaged man crumpled to the ground after receiving her devastating blow. Ignis watched as the bandaged man lay there, defeated by her powerful attack. After her brutal assault, the bandaged man's form flickered and then faded away entirely. Kongwu pondered if the bandaged man had truly lost. He knew that the bandaged man simply could not lose, unless that woman was some kind of world-class ranker. He wondered intensely who she was. Realizing he needed to inform the guild master immediately, he swiftly pulled out his communication screen to report this unfortunate and utterly unexpected incident to his superior. Ignis then began to stride purposefully towards Kongwu. The guy's nervousness became palpable as Ignis approached him. He tried to hide his fear, but Ignis could discern his apprehension from his expressions alone. The scene shifted, and after some time had passed, Ignis was seen running, desperately searching for Olivia. She was certain that Olivia had to be somewhere ahead. She soon reached the flower field that Emma had described. Upon arriving at the vibrant field, the girl came to a sudden halt. Ignis happened to spot someone standing a short distance away. Her eyes remained wide with shock as she took in the sight on the other side. She further noticed that the person standing there was holding a box, and inside that box, Olivia was being kept. She then recognized the individual was the same guy who had been responsible for her brother's death. She pressed her mind further, recalling the Dragon of Despair, Tafiz's very first defeat, inflicted by Guild Number 0. She vividly remembered the names of the guild members who had killed her brother. The subjugation team included Nandamik, Rush, Cynthia, Harkmorph, and Glow. While the last member's identity was unknown at the time, she now clearly recognized the person standing directly in front of her. Without wasting another second, she immediately lunged towards Rush, intent on killing him. She extended her hand, aiming to grasp Rush's neck. Rush saw her hand rapidly approaching. He quickly intercepted her hand, coolly stating to Ignis that he didn't do handshakes. Ignis instantly realized that this guy's power was utterly boundless. Rush then powerfully threw the girl to the ground. He swore under his breath, wondering what those guys were doing, allowing someone like this to pass through so easily. He sensed a strange energy emanating from behind him. He quickly turned his head and saw Ignis attempting to rise directly behind him. Ignis told Rush that she knew Ithis was exactly where it was. She managed to stand, though her body still trembled from the severe injuries she had endured. He questioned Ignis, asking who she was, as she didn't appear to be a ranking mercenary. She retorted, telling him to shut his mouth and that he was getting on her nerves. Well, whatever, he muttered, dismissing her. All he needed to do was eliminate her. Ignis did not falter. She surged towards him again, unleashing all her remaining power in a renewed attack. She raised her leg, and in an instant, delivered a powerful kick directly to his face. She watched, astonished, as he remained completely unharmed, having effortlessly dodged her kick. She refused to lose heart. She punched him again. He grew visibly frustrated, telling her that she was so weak. She kicked him with every last bit of energy left in her body. He then told Ignis that she didn't seem like a mercenary on a mission and he had no idea what her objective was, but he could clearly tell she was weak. He stepped towards her and demonstrated how one should deliver a proper kick. Ignis staggered, struggling to remain upright in front of him. He moved close to her and, with a single, swift kick, struck her directly in the face. Ignis was sent flying far away. She clenched her teeth, instinctively covering her face with her hands to protect herself. He began his relentless assault on her. He drew his weapon and repeatedly struck Ignis. He laughed maniacally, cursing at her and telling her to die. He pressed his weight onto Ignis, attempting to utterly crush her. Ignis lay sprawled on the ground beneath him. After observing that she had lost consciousness, he stepped aside, still holding his sword. He then leaped away, vanishing from sight. Meanwhile, the rain began to fall, with droplets cascading from the sky. Ignis lay on the ground, her mind replaying images of the dragon armor, dragon horn, and dragon heart. She cursed him, realizing that he was brazenly exploiting her brother's precious items. She was certain that her brother was suffering within that very place. She remembered the cherished moments she had spent with her brother. In her heart, she silently promised her brother that his Nuna, older sister, from a younger male's perspective would indeed save him. Sometime later, the scene shifted to a building, where several individuals were holding a conference. A girl dressed in green entered the room and offered her apologies to everyone present. The girl then inquired if everyone was currently assembled. This girl was Uriel, the village chief of Elsa Nature's village. A bald man, the merchant association chief, also known as the most substantial merchant, told the village chief that everyone was indeed present, so they should commence their discussion. Another boy with red hair, Kim Anjuan, who served as the spokesman for the victims, informed Elsa's village chief that they had been waiting indefinitely and urged them to hasten the proceedings. Garcia, the commander of the Elsa guards, also listened intently to the ongoing discussion. Terry, the leader of the mercenary group White Wine, informed Elsa's village chief that they were prepared. Elsa's village chief then decided to initiate the emergency measures meeting. She informed everyone about the current situation. The annual slime festival was facing several significant problems this year. Firstly, frequent attacks from red players had caused many users to cancel their plans to attend, and the ineffective countermeasures against these ambushes had drawn considerable criticism. Secondly, there was a severe shortage of slime liquid. Large quantities of slime liquid were essential for cooking and various other purposes during the festival. Typically, slime liquid was obtained through adventurers who hunted slimes. However, because many of those adventurers had fallen victim to the ambush attacks, they had been unable to acquire a sufficient supply of slime liquid. The village chief explained why they needed everyone's help to ensure the festival proceeded without any hitches. The Merchant Association chief stated that the village chief would post a quest notice for a slime subjugation mission. He was confident that as long as the reward was substantial, they would have enough participants to meet their needs. Kim Anjuan offered his assistance by summoning his friends. He informed them that there was a particular girl in this area he intended to take care of. He made them aware that she wore a cloak with a distinct red pattern. So, he suggested that everyone should alert him if they happened to spot her. Suddenly, he yelled at Garcia, warning him to wait till he got his hands on her. The Merchant Association chief remembered the detail about the red-patterned cloak. Garcia then asked Terry, how about him and his group? Terry made a strange face and told Garcia that he didn't need to say another word. Terry believed it would be an insult to them, the White Wine Guild, to compare them to those half-baked mercenaries, if it were left to him. The village chief Elsa then told Terry that she was sure he would be fine if he was truly confident. She requested them to begin the subjugation immediately. She informed Garcia that he would utilize the guards to assist them. He assured Ariel that she could count on him. She added Nim to her name. Signifying respect, Ariel Nim is an honorific ending for someone who is elder or superior. Terry then announced to everyone that they must start the subjugation mission and commence. On the other hand, Olivia was being held inside a mysterious device. Rush believed they needed to thank Nuna for providing them with this monster torture device. He observed that Olivia was revealing more of her deviant side as they got to know her better. As he had stated before, he addressed the bandaged man, reminding him not to let anyone reach the flower field. He questioned the bandaged man, asking if he remembered his words and if he couldn't follow such a simple order. The bandaged man remained silent. Rush continued to verbally abuse the bandaged man. He then kicked the bandaged man's body. The bandaged man apologized to him. Rush then asked the bandaged man if he had forgotten what kind of guild they were. The bandaged man's body began to tremble. Rush informed the bandaged man that they were a group of ruthless plunderers who would do absolutely anything for money. Their guild's name was Drunk Red Guild. He then asked the bandaged man if he knew how much it had cost him to clear all his death penalties. He placed his foot on the bandaged man's head and warned the blue-haired guy that the same rules applied to him too. With full aggression, he warned the blue-haired guy that if he messed up again, he would personally stuff him into that torture device. He declared he would not offer any second chances. The blue-haired guy laughed nervously. Though fear was evident in his eyes, he assured Rush that he didn't need to worry about him. The blue-haired guy was sweating profusely from sheer terror. Anyway, Rush decided to address the unimportant stuff for now and outlined the plan, so he instructed Kong Wu to listen carefully. He revealed that Alukia's Slime Festival was set to begin in just 3 days. The festival was a deeply ingrained tradition, meaning it would proceed no matter what. There were many rare and incredibly expensive items available there, such as the coveted slime statue. He also noted that the recent commotion caused by the red players had effectively eliminated any users who could potentially interfere with their plans, and they had already memorized the town's entire layout. In short, he believed this presented a golden opportunity to earn some serious money. He ordered his guild to steal every valuable item and kill everyone in their path, because it was time to show them what the Drunk Red Guild was truly made of. He clenched his fist, cursing at those people, and told his guild members to prepare for their actions. The Drunk Red Guild then commenced their operation. The raindrops were pouring down, and a group of guys were making their way through the downpour. One guy asked Terry how much the mission's reward was this time. Terry replied that perhaps the reward for this mission was just enough to cover a Hanwoo dinner afterwards. Hanwoo is a prized, expensive breed of Korean beef. Leader Terry turned his head to look back at his group. He instructed all the lower-level guild members to hunt any slimes they encountered, while the higher-level members should thoroughly comb the area. They spotted a large number of slimes lying on the ground. One of the boys stepped forward, intending to collect the slimes. He drew his dagger, ready to dispatch the slime. He leaped towards the slime and expertly slashed it. Terry commended the guy for his nice hit. He informed everyone that the hardest workers would be rewarded with bonuses, encouraging them to keep up the effort. Terry then noticed a slime attempting to hide within the bushes. Terry wondered if the slime was simply terrified. After a moment's thought, he concluded that this wasn't the case. He had never seen or even heard of any slime behaving in such an unusual manner. Well, he decided he would find out if they would kill it. The slime looked utterly terrified. Terry extended his hand forward, intending to grab the slime. At that precise moment, Ignis leaped into the scene. She commanded Terry to stop. She then strode purposefully towards Terry. She addressed Emma, the scared slime, apologizing to her because Olivia was right in front of her, yet she had let her get away. She assured Emma not to worry, promising to rescue them both. Terry questioned Ignis, asking, "Why are you here? We don't like red players." One of the guys from his group told Terry to let him handle the girl. With all his speed, he leaped towards Ignis, intending to strike her, but before he could land a blow, Ignis kicked him. The boy managed to block her attack, and Ignis twirled gracefully, landing back on the ground. The guy then activated the skill Thunderbolt. Ignis sighed, realizing her body was significantly weakened from all the damage she had already sustained. She saw a blinding yellow flash erupt directly in front of her. The flash struck the spot. The guy then bounced towards the girl, ready to unleash an onslaught. He told Ignis, as he attacked her, that this will be the end. He held his sword tightly and activated his lightning/skill. He struck Ignis, who fluttered and then collapsed to the ground. He told Ignis that he would send her off with that slime, so she wouldn't be lonely. Ignis lay on the ground, her energy almost completely depleted. Emma was present nearby, close to the girl. The girl's eyes flickered open. She desperately gathered her strength and, with immense effort, pushed herself upright, realizing she couldn't allow things to end like this. She stood before the yellow-haired guy, who confidently told her not to worry, assuring her he would finish her off properly. He then activated the skill Thunderbolt second. He delivered a brutal, life-ending blow to her. After striking her, he smirked as he walked past. Terry observed that the guy had executed a Thunderbolt second. It was awesome. Another guy standing beside Terry looked at the yellow-haired guy, noting that it seemed like an instant kill move. The yellow-haired guy sheathed his sword. He told Leader Terry that they should move on. Ignis sat on the ground in a truly terrible state. Emma was also there with her. Terry decided to wrap things up. He told Ignis that she certainly knew how to take a beating. He asked her if she would mind telling him why she was interfering with their guild. He noticed the slime behind Ignis and, after observing carefully, he felt she was actively protecting the slime behind her. He wondered why she would protect something as insignificant as a slime. He saw that Ignis did not appear to be a user trying to monopolize a high-level hunting ground. He thought there was no logical reason for the girl to go to such lengths for a mere slime. Her actions piqued his curiosity. He asked the girl if she could answer his questions. He assured Ignis that once she answered him, he would leave. The girl did not respond, so he began to call out to Ignis. Terry waved his hand, but still, she didn't answer. He stopped waving his hand and approached Ignis. He saw that Ignis collapsed to the ground and wondered if she had simply fainted. He turned around, preparing to leave, thinking that Ignis had indeed fainted and there was no point in staying any longer. He instructed his members to clean up the area. And just as he turned his face, one of his guild members shouted his name, demanding his attention. He was puzzled, having no idea why they were calling out to him. Ignis widened her fist, determined to seize Terry. Terry wondered if Ignis had been faking her unconsciousness. She was about to strike him, but Terry knew he couldn't possibly block this impending attack. Her hand was mere inches from Terry. However, Terry understood that there was absolutely no way he could react to such incredible speed. He cursed at the girl, realizing now that she had been feigning weakness for a chance to attack him, their leader. Before her hand could reach him, Terry grabbed her arm and flung her away. In this swift maneuver, he both dodged her attack and counterattacked simultaneously. Ignis shrieked, overcome by the intense pain she experienced. Terry stared intently at Ignis. He told Ignis that she had truly freaked him out. He concluded that she was a scary kind of lady. Anyway, he told her that if she didn't want to answer, it was fine, as they didn't have any more time to spare either. He simply told her to just die. He held a weapon tightly in his hand. He attacked Ignis. She realized that this was a dire situation because her body was no longer responding as she wished. She remembered Taffas, Olivia, and Emma. She thought that she couldn't do anything right now. Before Terry's weapon could strike her, Emma bravely leaped in between them. As soon as Emma hopped in, Terry's weapon was about to hit her and end her life. Emma tearfully told Ignis that she only realized it after Ignis accepted her request. The very fact that they were able to converse meant that Emma was also a unique monster. Although inherently very cowardly, she was glad she could be courageous in her final moments. Ignis screamed and leaped towards Emma, desperate to save her from Terry's fatal blow. Before she could rescue Emma, Terry's weapon mercilessly slashed Emma. Emma's last words to the girl were a heartfelt plea to take good care of Olivia. Ignis watched Emma's form begin to fade. She could tell by the diminishing form that the spark of life within her had extinguished. She was utterly unable to believe that Emma had died. She remained in denial, still clinging to the hope that Emma would somehow return. But suddenly, a screen materialized before her. The window displayed an error code 14. It explicitly stated on the screen that they cannot find the client for Olivia's rescue quest. The girl saw that it was clearly mentioned that the quest was now considered cancelled. Ignis began to spiral into a furious rage as she recalled how the humans had taken Tafas from her. She had believed he was the only one she needed to avenge. But now, she realized it wasn't just Tafas. All this time, all these other monsters around her had also disappeared. She thought that all of them had simply vanished. She surged towards Terry, intent on attacking him. She was about to strike him. But this time, Terry would not be deceived again. He drew his sword, preparing to attack her. However, before he could land a hit, a guy from his guild struck Ignis from behind. Ignis fell to the ground. All the guild members then surrounded her. Terry was confident this would be their victory. The girl didn't care if she died, as long as she could defeat these individuals. She knew that all she needed was just a small opening. She silently pleaded for strength from Tafas. She moved her hands, with their large, sharp nails, towards Terry. A booming, thundering voice echoed, proclaiming that it would be pretty problematic if she were to die right now. A blinding, flashy light erupted in the sky, and something strange began to descend from above. With a sudden boom, the mysterious object landed squarely on the ground. Terry wondered what in the world had just crash-landed. He saw a peculiar species with 2 legs and arms, just like a human, but its face was oddly strange. Terry wasn't sure if the being had covered its face with a mask. The newly appeared guy told Ignis that she simply cannot just die here. She was confused and puzzled as to how the boy knew her name, especially since she hadn't revealed it to anyone until now. The members of the guild rushed towards the boy, but he immediately activated the skill blackout. A notification appeared, informing him that the probability of status anomaly had increased by 99.9. This meant he was in a significantly weakened state. Another notification informed the boy that the efficacy of reinforcement and recovery skills had plummeted by 99.9. His mental state rapidly deteriorated, and he was now losing consciousness. He gritted his teeth and hurled his weapon far away. Ignis watched the entire unfolding scene, though she remained completely unaware of its implications. A voice from the clouds softly stated that he would see her later. The Merchant Association chief was passing through the forest when he heard an incredibly loud sound. He wondered what was happening as the noise was deafening to his ears. He speculated if it could be a band of thieves. Regardless, he continued on his way. He then spotted something strange in the sky on the other side. So, he changed his direction, heading towards it. He was actively searching for the source of that booming sound. As soon as he reached the location, he saw the guild members lying sprawled on the ground. He noticed that all of them were unconscious. He had no idea what could have possibly happened there to cause them to be in such a state. He then spotted Ignis there. He remembered she was the same person who had delivered the news to everyone earlier. Moreover, Kim On-Juan had also told him about her and asked him to inform him if he had ever seen the person. After looking at Ignis, the Merchant Association chief felt that he had not seen her before, and she didn't appear to be a red player. He wondered who she truly was. Regardless, he decided to take her back with him for now. Ignis remained lost in a dream for a prolonged period, adrift in a space with many disparate backgrounds jumbled together. They were in a chaotic mess, much like a pile of toys carelessly strewn about a child's room. Yet, it felt strangely familiar, which surprisingly put her at ease. She had secretly hoped for this. It felt as though she was forgetting something profoundly significant. She saw a boy standing before her who greeted her warmly. She asked the boy who he was, but he declined to reveal his identity. He believed that disclosing his identity wasn't particularly important. The boy then told Ignis to allow him to ask her a question. He inquired how she would feel if he told her that everyone's actions and their consequences were already predetermined. He further elaborated, stating that God had created this world and that the outcomes simply could not be altered. She responded that she would believe it, because she had always believed she could achieve anything if she tried her absolute best. Then, she mysteriously lost her powers for unknown reasons, and she began to feel as though everything was going awry. She had told Tafas that she would return if. Despite all her earnest efforts, she couldn't change anything, which would truly sadden her. Suppose that were true, then she would just give up. What he said was undeniably correct. The outcome was already predetermined, and she couldn't accomplish what was inherently impossible. She was unsure about this, but that's how it truly felt. Tafas extended his hand towards her, inviting her to shake hands with him. Ignis questioned what he was attempting to do. He asked Ignis what she meant by her query. He simply told her it was a handshake. Ignis was about to scratch his hand, but then, she decided to shake hands with him instead. As soon as she shook his hand, a deep blush spread across her face. He asked Ignis what she felt now. Ignis experienced a warm, profoundly familiar sensation from his tiny hand. She wondered how she could possibly describe this overwhelming feeling. Ignis blushed even more. She felt an exhilarating sense that she could achieve absolutely anything she desired. Tafas told Ignis that she had given a good answer. She thanked him for granting her such a profound feeling. Tafas told Ignis that there was no need to thank him. This feeling was already residing within her heart, and he explained that handshakes were indeed beneficial. After all, they were a beautiful way to convey one's deepest emotions. He told Ignis that her journey would be long and incredibly complex, but she should never, ever forget the vibrant spark that resided within her heart. The scene shifted to where Ignis's eyes slowly opened. She sat up in her bed and questioned herself, "Where am I?" The Merchant Association chief entered the room and saw that she was finally awake. The Merchant Association chief informed Ignis that he had discovered her unconscious in the forest and had brought her there. He then asked Ignis exactly what had happened to her. Ignis recoiled, preparing to strike the Merchant Association chief. Her initial thought was that all humans should simply vanish. However, she then remembered the handshake with the boy. She slowly lowered her hand, the memory of that handshake calming her. She looked at the Merchant Association chief and asked him if he was the one who had saved her. She pressed him to tell her where she was and how much time had elapsed. The Merchant Association chief reminded Ignis that he had asked the question first. He explained that both she and the White Wine Guild members were unconscious, so they had brought everyone back to the village. He told her that it had been 3 days since then. Ignis's eyes widened in alarm. She realized that if she didn't act quickly, Olivia would be in grave danger. She yelled at the Merchant Association chief, demanding to know where those guys were. He asked Ignis if she was referring to the White Wine Guild. He informed her that they had all been forcibly logged off while they were being brought back. She clenched her hands, and after a moment's thought, she asked the Merchant Association chief what he meant by the term logged off. The Merchant Association chief was surprised to see that she was unfamiliar with the term. He questioned her, asking if she didn't know how to log off. Ignis began to ponder if log was the name of a skill or perhaps an item. She then asked him if he meant to say that it was the tastiest food in the world. Or perhaps not.